On July 30th, 2008, Tim Mclean was a 22-year-old Canadian man who worked at a carnival who was on his way from Edmonton to Winnipeg. At 6:55 p.m., the bus departed from a stop in Erickson, Manitoba to pick up another passenger, 40-year-old Vince Lee. At first, Vince Lee sat near the front of the bus, but he moved to sit next to Mclean, following a rest stop. Mclean barely recognized Lee, and then he fell asleep against the window pane and wore his headphones. When Mclean was sleeping while wearing his headphones, Lee produced a large knife and began stabbing Mclean in the neck and in the chest. The bus driver pulled to the side of the road and all the other passengers fled the vehicle. The driver and the two men made an attempt to rescue Mclean. However, Lee slashed at them from behind the locked bus doors. Lee began decapitating Mclean and displayed his severed head to those standing outside the bus. He later on returned to Mclean's body and proceeded to sever the other parts and began consuming some of Mclean's flesh. At 8:30 p.m., the Royal Canadian Mounted Police arrived to the scene and found that the suspect was still inside the bus, and he was prevented from escaping by another passenger, the bus driver, and a truck driver, who used a crowbar and a hammer as weapons. At 9 p.m., the police officers noticed that Lee was eating parts of Mclean's body. The officers also heard Lee say, "I have to stay on the bus forever." On July 31st at 1:30 a.m., Lee attempted to escape from the bus by breaking through a window. He was shot with a taser twice and handcuffed and placed in the back of a police car. Some parts of Mclean's body were placed in plastic bags that were retrieved from the bus. His ear, nose, and tongue were found to be in Lee's pockets. Lee's trial began on March 3, 2009, with Lee pleading not criminally responsible on account of his mental disorder. The psychiatrist said that Lee performed the attack because God's voice told him that Mclean was a force of evil and was about to kill him. The judge accepted the diagnosis and ruled that Lee was not responsible for the killing. Lee was sent to Selkirk Mental Health Center. On the 30th of May 2011, the CBC reported that Lee was responding well to his psychiatric treatment. His doctor had recommended that he receives more freedom over the course of several months. On May 17, 2012, the National Post reported that Lee has been granted temporary passes that allow him out of the Selkirk Mental Health Center for visits to the town of Selkirk, while being supervised by a nurse and a peace officer. Lee spoke for the first time, saying that he began hearing the voice of God in 2004 and he wanted to save the people from an alien attack. On February 27, 2014, the CBC reported that on March 6, Lee would be allowed to have unsupervised visits to Selkirk, starting at 30 minutes and spending to full-day trips. On February 27, 2015, the CBC News reported that Lee was given unsupervised day passes to Winnipeg, as long as he carried a cell phone and he's using it. On May 8, 2015, the CTV News reported that Lee would be granted passes to group homes in the community. The following day, Tim's mother made a statement against the hospital and the doctor's decision to grant Lee freedom in the community. Lee's doctor says that Lee has found improvement and was at a low risk to attack again. The doctor also stated that the community had curfews in which Lee can take his medications. In February 2016, Lee had legally changed his name to Will Baker and was seeking to leave his group home to live independently. He won the right to live alone on February 26 upon the recommendation of the Criminal Code Review Board. On February 10, 2017, the Manitoba Criminal Code Review Board decided Lee to be discharged. There will be no legal duties or restrictions to Lee's independent living. To this day, Lee is a free man.